The problem is the super rich buying property in London, isn't it? How much did you pay for your place?
It's rented, no.
Was it?
What kind
of rent are you paying?
Oh, I'm not interested in talking to you about my rent, mate. I'm here to support a very, very important campaign, and you, as a member of the media, have an important duty to help to represent these people.
But it's still a point, isn't it? I mean, the point is the demand that the super rich are putting on the London property market.
Unless what you're proposing, no, absolutely not. I would completely deny that. I'd say I'm part of the solution. People coming together to amplify the voices of ordinary people. That's precisely what's needed. There's no greater, more expensive piece of real estate in London than that one, and the people in there are the people that have the obligation, mate.
I'd say your house is nearly on par.
Well, it's rented. We don't know the value. You'd have to talk to my landlord. Blessedly, I can afford my rent, and I'm prepared to stand up for people that can't. It's been lovely talking to you.
David Cameron isn't. Lisa Russell Brand's actually standing up, regardless of how big his house is, and coming down and helping ordinary people.
Maybe the media
Let's see if David Cameron
as soon as people stand up. No, you're turning. No, there's anyone who's like.
David Cameron's prepared to come out of his big house and help us. He isn't, is he? But Russell Brand has, and thank God there is people like him who's prepared to step out and help people like us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't have 300,000 signatures. We would have been kicked out and booted out of London.
Yeah,
so thank God.
Like you, mate, undermine it. You're a snide.
Shut up! You're vomit-inducing. Yes, Russell Brand had it again, calling for an anti-capitalist revolution. He claims, profit is a filthy word, despite the fact that he's worth £9 million himself. Yeah, he was marching down Downing Street, protesting for more affordable rents when he came across this journalist who dared ask him, and how much rent is your little flat? Nonetheless, he is just cringeworthy. Sara MacIntyre and Matthew Lombardi here to join us on this. He calls himself a troubled visionary. He has, to me, become the most obnoxious human being on the planet.
He's farcical, though. I think he's, we're kind of witnessing his slow descent into insanity. He doesn't make any sense anymore. As long as there's a soapbox, he's going to get up and he's going to lecture everyone. Even in that clip there, he was lecturing the media about what their role was. And frankly, there's always going to be people that want to hear what he has to say, because there's always going to be people.
He has a huge fan base.
Yeah, there's always going to be people that are going to say my problems are because of somebody else, and they want to point the finger. But this march in London for affordable houses, it really reminds me in Canada, for example, in Vancouver, in East Hastings, where there was this right to housing in basically the most expensive real estate in Canada. Yeah. Well, there's no right to occupy the most expensive real estate in Canada. You can't afford it. That's unfortunate. But you know what? A lot of people that live and work downtown Toronto can't afford to work downtown Toronto, but we're not out protesting saying that it's Premier Kathleen Wynne's fault.
Yeah, is he using, Matthew, these people to get his face out there? Because as far as I'm concerned, that's all he's doing. He is jumping on the backs of these people.
Look, Russell Brand's a comedian, and
but he's not funny anymore.
Well,
no, when he was on heroin, he was tolerable, and then he got off of heroin.
Maybe this may just be his version of impressionist art, Alex. Who knows? But I will say this for him. Despite the fact that he lost his cool and didn't do himself any favors in that clip, he has highlighted an issue of affordable housing in London. Obviously, it's not been highlighted in the way that he would have probably liked for it to be highlighted, because he's become the story. But when you actually look at the issue of affordable housing in London, it is one that merits a conversation. So if nothing else, he's at least done that.
I don't know. Look, the very system, he hates capitalism, and he's telling anybody who will listen. He wrote this book, Revolution, and he's been crapping all over capitalism, even though it is the very thing that allowed him to become a multi-millionaire.
Sure, there's no doubt about that. Russell Brand's obviously got some views that I don't think anyone at this table agrees with. At the same time,
but there's like a million of these Russell Brands.
Having success certainly doesn't prohibit him from having opinions that are different than ours. And I would also say that, to his credit, that group that was protesting the issue yesterday in London would not have had access to the venue they were protesting right in front of 10 Downing without the number of signatures that they got, and they only got 300,000 signatures because they had Russell Brand on side. So he's clearly
I don't know if that's actually why you've got the number of signatures. I think that affordable housing has been an issue in London for 15 years. This is not a new issue, and I think if they were organized well, they probably got those signatures. They didn't get them because of Russell Brand. They got them because it's actual issue. It's very different in London, right? We think about when you grow grow up and you graduate university and you get a good paying job, maybe by the time you're 30, you're going to be able to get a mortgage. In London, that's not the case. You're mortgaging with 3 of your friends in order to get, 500 square feet. That is about an hour from the downtown core. But that's the reality in London. It's been that way for 15 years. Russell Brand can go out and knock on, David Cameron's door because he probably lives in downtown London.
His house is probably as expensive as David Cameron's, but
probably
in Revolution, I mean, he really thinks that people should go out, live anywhere they want in a cardboard box, and he's happy to go down there and give them pictures and that. But what he doesn't seem to understand is, by telling people not to contribute to society, to tell people, don't evolve, he tells people not to vote. You're basically telling people how to fail at life. You're teaching people how to fail.
But he's just a voice. I mean, I think
there's a lot of these voices. They Occupy movement. They've all got their celebrities involved.
But at the same time, individuals have to be responsible for their own choices and their ability to critically think. U2's head singer Bono was anti-capitalist for years,
and he changed his mind.
And he changed his mind. He thinks the big savior of Africa will be capitalism. So maybe he just needs to grow up. Maybe this is just a facile understanding of how the economy works, and maybe Russell Brand will eventually grow up and start preaching the virtues of capitalism. But he's just a voice, and I think he's a bit deranged, and I think anyone that listens to him for a half a second thinks, this guy there isn't something right. His reality is distorted. He needs to wash his hair and probably sit at home and maybe pick up a book as opposed to just ranting into a TV screen.
I mean, it's bad when even Johnny Rotten is disagreeing with you. I mean, Johnny Rotten, who is as left as they get, even thinks that he's a bit of a, I can't say the word, but I'll say
wingnut?
doofus. A which?
A wingnut?
Well, that wasn't the word I was looking for, Sarah. I can't say it on TV. I might be able to, but I'll leave that for
the later
another
hours.
day. Okay.